Hi y'all, it's Kathy. How you doing today? I just wanted to jump on here because I found that I thought it was a poem, but it's just more like a information being given, not so much a poem, but it's very poetic language. So I found that poem about the ship. You know, I had told y'all about my friend who had felt insignificant and about pretending to be a ship that was crossing the ocean from one destination to another. Anyway, I have found the paper that I was searching for, and so I'm gonna just read it to you here in a minute. But let's get ready. So grab your glasses and grab your lipstick, put on some lipstick. I always make a mess of myself when I do this. And then grab your water. We need water so we won't be dehydrated. Okay, we're ready. I haven't told anybody I was coming on live today, so I probably don't have any viewers yet. But when you see this in replay, you know I'd appreciate it if you would press, the replay. Just put hashtag replay, and that way I know who's seeing this. And anyway, I'm just gonna, let's go ahead and do our jewelry from Sharon. And no, it's not a jewelry show. I'll have to put her link down here. I just do this for her every time because I like to promote my friends. She gave me a ring for ordering from her. Don't give up on me. I'm starting the story in about 2 minutes. And I bought a cute little necklace. But it is very interesting because this man had felt himself to be insignificant, and he was thinking of harming himself. And so because of that reason, I was given a message that, isn't that the cutest darn thing? It's got little keys on it and everything. I got that from Sharon. Anyway, because of that reason, you know, there's always some reason that I'm allowed to see spirits and give messages. So because of that reason, I think that's why this happened. But anyway, what I had told y'all was that, that I believe that God is a healer of relationships, and he brings reconciliation and restoration to people when they seek him to try to work out relationship problems. Anyway, what I say here is my belief is that God is a healer of relationships. He brings about reconciliation and restoration. And since God has brought me back into my friend's life, if you'll recall, he had left and went and worked on a horse ranch, and then he came back and he asked if he could stay with me again. He had had a heart attack, and I had a large RV that was like 42 feet, and I had 2 rooms, and so he rented the back space of my RV because he just couldn't live on his own at the time. Anyway, I really didn't want to deal with him or anyone at the time, but I felt that I was supposed to, so I just said, well, I'll let him, but this is your battle, not mine. I'm not gonna, argue with him about anything or try to make him do anything. Because sometimes people don't want to take care of themselves. It seems like they just have a death wish, they want to die. So anyway, I told y'all that he had shown me a vision of a sunken ship, and that he asked me to think about discovering the location of the sunken Titanic after having knowledge of the careful creation, intended purpose, and superior abilities of the vessel. And he asked me, what would you do if you had come upon it and you knew that it was a carefully crafted vessel that was intended for a purpose and had superior abilities? What would you do? Would you just leave it sank at the bottom of the ocean, or would you try to do something to help repair it and bring it back up so that you may find the treasures that were in it to begin with and put new people on it so that it could still have a purpose in its life? So it's all symbolism, really. But he said, I can see that you really have little or no interest in it. It seems a bother to you that you ran upon it in your path as you were aiming for the shore of another land. Now that you have discovered it, ran across it actually, are you willing to bring it up? Are you willing to do the tremendous work that it would take to lift the vessel from the depths, from the darkness, from the destruction that it has suffered. Though others have tried and even succeeded to a degree by dragging up some of the artifacts, the things carried inside the vessel that were valuable, the vessel itself remains in the deep, dark ocean of oppression. The pressure of the water that filled it and drowned it remains in its cavity and above it, all around it. The water must be removed so that the vessel can rise to the surface of the water. Then that same water can carry the vessel to the shore. Even then, will the vessel forget its journey to the depths? Will it not creak and moan from the destruction of its structure? I asked the Lord what the word water symbolized in this story, because this was God talking to me. This wasn't the young man. And I asked God what the word water symbolized in the story that he was telling me. And I thought that it would be the symbol for grief. And the Lord answered me, and he said, the word water in this story is used in the place of the word love. Then he asked me, what is grief if it's not love, if it isn't love? Only love can cause such pain and destruction, and only love can uplift and restore such pain and destruction. I thought that was the coolest thing, that it was love that caused him to be hurt so bad and fall into depression, and that only love could repair that hurt and help him to live again. So I took on the mission, and then, also another part of the message that the Lord told me was, might it not have holes where it is susceptible to water pouring back into its cavity? What are you willing to do for this great vessel that carried the weight of its people, then slipped into the water, a brave and mighty voyager, only to be crushed into by an unstoppable force, a deadly force that disabled and destroyed the voyager? This is where we are. This is where we are, my child. We are in this together. Wait for my prompting. Do only as I say and arrange, nothing more. I will make the way. I will bring about the circumstances. I will provide the healing. Another question that I had at the time, that was the Lord just speaking to me, y'all. Some people don't believe me, but I couldn't have come up with that story if I tried. I didn't have those thoughts, you know. It was just the Lord communicating with me in a hard situation. But a question that I had was, you know, what would my motive be other than kindness and expressing, you know, agape love towards the vessel? Do I, or would I have another or any other motive? If so, would that be wrong? So I wasn't sure what my motives were other than just being helpful to, you know, this person. Anyway, so let's see. Let me go to the next part. What happened was, he and I think I told y'all that we had gotten into a little fuss one day, and he was very moody, and because he was just in a lot of pain, you know. But I had a fuss with him, and on that day, when we had that fuss, I was just sitting there, and it bothered me so much because I could not figure out what was wrong with him. He just kept talking about the insignificance of things, and so I laid down and I wrote this out, and it says, my spirit is stirring so strongly, I cannot ignore it. My friend's son, he listened. It's like he was sitting there listening with me as I was listening to what my friend was saying. I wrote, he listened and he waited with me as you spoke. He knew that I needed someone to comfort me as you spoke the words that you did. I felt the presence, however, there were no words or message impressions to answer the remarks that you made until the end. That is when the message came that what you were saying was contradictory. I slept so soundly when he was kind of validating for me that what my friend was saying made no sense, but I just couldn't figure out how to explain to him that what he was saying didn't make any sense to me. So anyway, I slept very soundly, and when I woke, I was at total peace. Yet I kept wanting to lay back down in my bed, and the stirring began. He said, it makes no sense. It is illogical to say that one is not significant. Oh, because in their religion, it was not, it was about ridding yourself of ego, and how, you know, one person is not set above another. We are all equal. We are all a group. And so the idea was that oneself was not important. Now, of course, in my religion, we want to love others as ourselves, but we don't preach that one has to humble themselves, yes, but this is about losing your identity completely, and that you're just part of a group and your identity doesn't matter. Anyway, this young man was telling me that it made no sense, that it is illogical to say that one is not significant. For without the one, there would be no whole. The whole would be incomplete because the one would be missing, thereby making the one immensely significant. He said that he told you before in the message concerning, just a second, the truth. But I have some notes here. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, I was explaining that sometimes when people are hurt, they don't even know what's wrong. They have questions they don't know how to ask. They don't know who to seek for counseling. In their state of pain and confusion, they may lash out at others, even others that they love. So that's what I felt was going on in this situation, that I just happened to be there, and he cared for me, but he was in such pain, he was lashing out at me. And so I was just trying to make sense of, you know, what was going on there. Anyway, that last sentence was, he said that he told you before in a message before concerning the truth. The truth is that each one is significant and celebrated. He said that the original message was that no one is greater or more important than the other one. However, each one is immensely important and celebrated. So they were all taking the original doctrine of this religion and they were changing it to where a person didn't have their own identity or anything. They were just a part of the group. So he's trying to explain that each person does still have their identity and each person is immensely significant and important. He said, so if they're missing, it's going to cause trouble for the whole group. So he said that it is also true that together we are connected to make the whole. Living beings, those with the breath of life, are to be the center of a target. Pretend you have a target. And in the center of the target, that's where living beings are. And then the target, while other beings like the land, the earth, and the sky are outer rings of the target. See, because their religion puts a lot of emphasis on nature and the earth and all of that. So he's saying that people are focusing too much on the nature and the outer limits when they need to focus more on the people who are in the target, the center of the target. Though we focus on the center, we celebrate the outer circles of our target as well. There is an explanation for the confusion. It is a misunderstanding. It is a misinterpretation of the message that was given to the one, the original one, that taught the message. Though humility was the lesson, it was carried too far. The celebration is not that one is insignificant, but that each one is connected and together we make the whole. So what happened with this religion is it caused him to believe that he in fact was not significant because the whole would go on, you know. So where the man often thinks too highly of himself, placing himself above another, that is where the teaching of the no self message was to be learned. That is why you were brought to it. Fanatic teaching and adheration loses the immense importance of the one. It is a commune mentality rather than a celebration that each beautiful flower equals a most glorious and lovely bouquet. Each flower is celebrated. Those who have ears, let them hear of what we speak. In focusing on a group of people of like mind, rather than the element that connects the whole, many lose or never see the greater message. All of life is connected by a force that lives and moves within us and outside of us. It has many names and interpretations of what it is. We will call it life and love. For without life, there would be no love. Life is the foundation. Love is the force that connects us to one another and to the other physical elements in our world. Without it, we would not care about such things. We would not connect or care about such things. If one is loved by another, does that not make him or her significant? We ask you this question not because we don't know the answers. We ask you this question so that you can benefit from answering the question for yourself. Now we must tell you how immensely significant you are. In many ways and at many times, you significantly impacted the lives of others to their harm. However, good came of it along with the bad. You had children, and then the grandparents had to step in and help the children. And through your repentance, a healing began. Because he finally realized that he had not been involved in the family as he should have as a father. And so the grandparents had to step in and help with the children. So the good that came out of that was that the grandparents got a close relationship with the children, even though the bad that had happened. But then he repented of what had happened there, and he began to take his place as their father and rebuild and restore those relationships. So that's what this is talking about. I just know the background of it, so that's why I had to step in and say that. Though through your repentance, healing began, and now you walk the most beneficial path, the path of atonement. We see and we know. We were instrumental in guiding you to this path. We cannot physically be there, so we sent for you. We are healed by your atonement. Many are healed on the earth in the physical as well. Meaning his daughter and his grandsons. You can see that. It is a most excellent example of the importance of the one whom completes the whole. You complete us, those of us who have left the physical realm, and those of us who remain. Without you, the one, we, the whole, are incomplete. We are grateful to you for completing us. We are grateful for life and love that moved you to do so. We are ever present with you and the rest of us who remain. Be healed by our words. Be whole once more for good forever. That is our prayer. That is our message to you, the immensely significant one. And I wrote, oh no, he's still talking. Changing one's thoughts, one's mind is the hardest, most humble action that can occur. For the mind is an obstinate obstacle, full of pride in every man and woman. When a thought or teaching has been accepted, it is almost impossible to change it. Our greatest struggle is with ourself. May mercy endure. A paradigm shift to see that one individual, that significant one individual is celebrated. So that was the message that his son, I was just writing, and he gave me all of those words. And at the end, it was more than just him. It was several of the saints coming through to talk about it. And, you know, what is love? God is love, right? So he was saying it in his way and in his words, but it helped his father to understand and to not take his life. So that was the message of the ship. And all of those words were given to me from, you know, his son who had come through. So I just wanted to step on here today because I had found that paper, and, you know, we use so many different words in explaining things, and we wind up getting in fusses and divisions about it because, you know, so-and-so didn't use the correct wording that I use when I talk about that thing, you know. I understood completely. I'm a Christian. I understood completely what this young man and the others were saying to me is that, you know, God is love, and he is the restorer of relationships, and he wants to bring life back to people who have lost their hope. He wants to bring hope and life and a purpose back to those who have been crushed by grief and have fallen to the depths, to about the deepest depths that you can fall in this lifetime when you lose a child. So anyway, I just wanted to step on here to do that today, and I really appreciate you watching, and I'll catch y'all probably Tuesday morning around 10. Thanks. Bye.